We make things shake. You know I gets that money,
all day.
that cake, I gets that bread. You know we make things shake. You know I gets that money, that cake, I gets that bread.
I'm back in the building.
You know I get that money.
Put a little dirty South swag up in there. You know what it is.
Things you think about other people and stuff you feel about yourself and things you want for your life, them bitches on the same level. I don't know if some of y'all didn't know that, but allowing me to fuck you and allowing me to enter your mind as far as what you want, how you think, what you don't want, what you're into right now, what you're on, that shit's on the same fucking level. This is why the more familiar you get with the person, not actually knowing their intentions, like Linwood said, but the more familiar you get as far as being in a space with them or being on the phone with them, meaning that consistent communication, it makes it feel like y'all are closer than what you actually are. That's why nowadays, because if you think about it, back in the day when there were no cell phones and computers and shit, people had to wait to actually court one another and get to know one another in different increments of time. Now, we never actually have to meet. We can meet on an app, talk every day, multiple times a day, consistently, and it can feel like we are meant to be together. I can feel like I know you from your deepest, insides. We are soulmates. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Electronic relationship. You're in a relationship with your phone.
But it feels like a real person. And again, like Linwood said, you don't know my intentions. You just know how it feels to interact with me. You don't know what I'm doing with this. But you know that, like we were saying to her earlier, we took a girls trip and I be chilling and we laugh. You came back, you got your hair done. Like the vibe, it feels like to be around. Now we going out to eat, multiple times a week, might hit the club or two. So we're getting more and more familiar with each other, right? So now I feel comfortable enough to start asking you your business. Who your man is? How long you been talking to him? Girl, them the type of dudes you like? Where you work at? How much y'all make there? How many kids you got? It don't feel like nothing wrong because the access you gave to me, it gives the vibes, the energy that we're locked in. We're more of friends than we really are. We're deeper than what we are.
And some people just use you for that status.
Come on.
They know you are...
Antoinette, remember, you don't know my intentions. Remember, you don't know my intentions.
But in my situation, I should say my situations, the situations that I've dealt with in the past, it was literally to be around you because your environment is way beyond where they're at.
That's what I'm... Right, but that's what I don't mean to cut you off, but Antoinette, I'm going to let you finish. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it could feel like we're having fun and we're friends, and I like Antoinette, and we vibing. But like she's saying, you don't know my intentions, so I really just probably intended on getting into the lifestyle that she's into. And I know you know this, Antoinette, with women, we watch one another. Looking at how she got her hair like that. Oh, bitch, let me show you this picture. I want my hair like hers. She got her dress like this. Oh, she want her bra like this. Or her titties like that. Okay, let me my shit like that. Like, you thinking this is some sort of organic building of a friendship. Bitch, I'm trying to get up under you to get my shit looking like how your shit look. Really don't give a fuck about you like that. You cool, though.
It's that whole single white female thing.
Come on.
I don't know. Y'all might be a little old for that, but... If you've ever seen that movie, I've seen that.
They got that black single, like they got that single black female out there now too, so they should know.
100%. And this goes on with male or female. If you don't take the time to peel back the layers and get to know a person, friendship or intimate relationship, you run the risk of this. And a lot of times, for the sake of things feeling fun, we will attach ourselves in an unhealthy way to people. The scenario that Cam explained is too early for all that. Well, and I'm going to tell y'all something what's happening nowadays. Women and girls are becoming friends easily like that. And then later on, something very toxic and dramatic occurs, and they realize we don't even know each other. This is why you see so many cliques of friends and girls setting each other up, fighting, beating the fuck out of one another. First of all, you first seen them at a boss brunch. A women's boss brunch. Everybody's there. They dressed up. They got their heels and pantsuits on. Everybody exchanging knowledge on this. They leave there and get super close with somebody. They have no idea the intentions of this person. Next thing you know, they beating the fuck out of each other. Or she done fucked her man. Or she found out some information about her kids and then she made a subliminal post online and it hurt the lady's feelings. And now she's scarred and now the friend circle all fucked up and everybody choosing sides. And if y'all talk to her, you can't come over here and talk to me. And, oh, bitch, you playing both sides because I won't get into beef and fall. It goes on every day. And it stems from people lack of boundaries, giving too much access, trying to people please, to create some sort of image of, look at the friends I have. Look at the new relationship. Oh, this feels like this.
And I had to add in low self-esteem because you validate yourself through your interaction, your relationship with another person.
Yep.
Like that's your your life is measured based on how well you treat this other person. And what often happens is that you don't really love the actual person when you look back on it. You love the idea of that person. You love what you think is the potential of that person.
Yep.
Of that person. So you start pouring into that person, and then your glass is starting to get empty.
Yep. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. You don't realize that you will go along, you will people please in order to make these type of relationships carry on. And I'm gonna tell y'all again, I'll use another example, because in the risks of people pleasing, the last one was harm to others. It says people pleasing may cause a person to prioritize feeling liked over the well-being of others. So for example, if I'm trying to fit in with this particular girl or these group of people, they over here gossiping about somebody. So to fit in, I'm going to get in on the gossip. Not because I'm a big gossiper or I be talking about people. I'm trying to fit in with them. This is what they're doing. So to please the scene that I'm on, to be liked by these people, I'm going to go ahead and go along or get involved in the conversation that they're having. Even though if you caught me by myself, I wouldn't even be talking about that kind of shit. Teenagers struggle with this a lot. And a lot of us struggle with it, and we weren't taught stuff like this. You just get told the old sayings. If Keisha jump off a cliff, you going to jump off too? Not realizing like you need to break down the psyche behind following behind other people. Them friends gonna get you in trouble. Okay, I get you said that, grandma, but what the fuck do that mean? What does it mean?
With me, in my situation, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead, Antoinette.
No, with me and my situation, it was a lot similar to, I don't know if you've read Michelle Obama's book yet, but in her book, she talks about the people she couldn't take to the White House with her, the friends she couldn't take to the White House with her. And what I found is that certain people that I thought, I shouldn't say I thought, that really weren't for me, weren't positive, weren't evolving in my life, I would be trying to move forward and evolve and do better for myself. Yep. And the people that were in these bigger rooms, these smarter rooms, would see the company I kept. Yep. And it would cost me opportunities. It would literally cost me opportunities because of the crowd or the stragglers that I didn't know I was bringing to the table with me. Yep. And they look at me and say, oh, you had all this potential, but who are they? You know? And it would really set me up for failure on the job, in friend groups, in business situations where people would see the lack of, you can't know these people or you wouldn't even be bringing them to our table. Yep. And I had to understand that about myself. Unless I know you through and through, and that was a lot like Michelle had said in her book, there was just certain people that, in her past or in her old life in Chicago, she could deal with those people. But in the White House, she could not bring them. She literally talked about slow ghosting. Having a slow ghost friend that she could not bring into the presidency with her.
It was setting new boundaries based on being aware that I have grown. And see, we don't even realize when you're uncomfortable about rejection or separating from people that you have been habitually programmed to be around through family or the environment you were raised in, you get almost uncomfortable, uneasy, reluctant to let go of things that you know you need to let go of.
That describes me very well.
And we do it in relationships all the time. Some of y'all can look back and half of the shit you did financially or just physically. It's people done emotionally got into long-term lease agreements, bought a property with somebody, got themselves into a bit based on trying to please the idea of being with this person, trying to please this person, trying to go along to get along. You made decisions that in the end, this was never something you actually wanted to do. I talk to people all the time because I'm a safe space for them to say it. But it's people that like, I ain't have no business having no motherfucking kids. Trying to keep a nigga, trying to create this idea of a family. And I'm knowing damn well, this is not what I wanted for my life. I love my kids. Like they're able to say this on a phone call with me or in a one-on-one Zoom without being judged because I'm real. I know that we go through life making permanent decisions off of temporary emotions. We just gotta fake like we ain't. Everybody got to act like, no, we planned for mine. No, love, me and him, we talked about it. We did want a baby. Okay, well, tell me about your finances before you had the baby. Did you work a consistent job with a decent income to support one child? No. What about him? Well, he was in between jobs. You know, he sell weed and then he was talking about getting his CDLs. And okay, so you're telling me that y'all planned for a baby, but when you describe to me how y'all life looked during and before the pregnancy, it doesn't match up with somebody that's building a nest for a child. Yeah, when you put it like that, I guess we wasn't there. Exactly. You were making a decision off of feelings and people pleasing or the idea of trying to make a relationship be something that it's not. If you looked at all the facts of y'all dealing, you wasn't ready and he wasn't ready. So now that the baby here and you stressed out and he damn near absent, it actually makes sense based on how the decision came about. Is it right? No, it's not. But I feel worse for the child than either of you two grown motherfuckers that could simply sit down and just reflect for a second. Do we actually have the money, the mental capacity, the resources, the stability to be talking about raising a human? Or did we just follow the generational curses of other broke down poor ass people that just keep telling themselves, well, my mama raised me by herself, so I can raise mine by myself. My mama ain't really had nothing when she raised us, and we turned out all right, so I'm going to raise mine the same way. And if you understand generational curses, she didn't do a good job because look at what the fuck's going on with you now. You struggle to get a healthy relationship and some companionship. Same shit she struggled with, which is why your ass was raised in a single parent household. These things need to be discussed often. It needs to be something that is regular conversation. Checking yourself about, hey, did I do that because it was something I thought through? Did I do it because I like that nigga? Hey, did I do that because it was something I thought through? Or did I do that because I was trying to fuck that bitch? Hey, did I do that because it was a decision that made sense, or am I desperate for a relationship right now? Hey, am I over here having drinks with this girl because I actually know her character or her core beliefs and I feel like I can come get drunk and get a little bit vulnerable because drinking impairs your judgment? Is this somebody that it is safe to be over here doing this around? I had a friend of mine, he went out with a friend of his. He in the car and drunk and what she believes to be drunk. Now they cool, they hang all the time. So this is not somebody that he's not familiar with, but he ain't know her intentions. So they go out, he get, not drunk what she thinks he is, but he done had him a few. So he in the car damn near going to sleep as they driving home. He got his bag on his lap. It's money in there. You can see it. He can see her. She think he's asleep. He can see her going into his bag. But you thinking I'm that drunk that you can take that. And then you got to think about it. The next day, all you got to say is, I ain't take your money. You was drunk, bitch. You probably dropped it. Somebody might have took your money out your bag in the club. You don't know. They hanging strong. Going out to eat, going for drinks. He coming over there helping her with stuff. Bitches steal your money out your motherfucking lap when you had one too many.
Right in front of your face.
In front of your face.
You're fucked up.
But she think you exactly. She thinking you, and this was a friend of mine. When he told me, she ain't wrong, you wrong. This is what you get when you out here just exposing. You knew before you and her went out what fuck drinking do to your judgment. You know that people will look at people that are intoxicated as a possible lick.
And people like her, they can let little stuff like that, sweet little stuff like that on the rug, do little stuff like that, and act like it was nothing.
She felt like
that was the piece of their friendship to your friend, but to her, it was like everyday movement.
She felt like, in the end, she felt like he started acting funny with her. That wasn't a big deal.
Right.
I ain't take the money. I was just seeing if you was awake. But when most people that I tell this scenario to, they immediately look like, oh my God, that girl dead wrong. She's a fucked up person. What the fuck do you think what kind of world we live in? If you ain't vetted nobody out, what the fuck you doing around them, getting yourself to that space or even making it look like you in that type of predicament? That's not somebody like, this is when we get into, you're going along to get along. You want friends and you want that whole, bitch, I got me somebody to go out with so bad. You don't realize that same person you left to go out with be the same motherfucker that'll be a part of your demise or you getting robbed or slapped upside your head. And everybody raised different. Go ahead, Linwood.
I'm about to say, wake up the next day and get your kidney stolen.
All kind of shit. But the point is, when you understand, people are allowed to be however the fuck they want to be. It's my job to make sure I am putting myself in positive environments, situations that are productive, around people that are a support system that I built. But our problem is, watch this, from upbringing, we ain't taught the value that a motherfucker teach you not to even value your own daddy or your own paternal side of your family. When you grow up and my parents were at odds, my daddy grandma or my daddy mama and my mama's mama didn't fuck with each other. My cousins over here didn't fuck with these cousins. This is the environment, the conditioning, the programming in which you received. You wasn't taught teamwork and how to not lose sight of self while building with others, forgiveness and management of emotions and genuine support. And here go one that a lot of people don't understand. Being able to hold one another accountable. Meaning, even though you my sister, I'm allowed to tell you when you're wrong. Even though you my brother, I'm not doing anything to you by letting you know when you are incorrectly handling me or someone else. We're supposed to check one another in our circle. But a lot of times when you raised,
with my family.
when you raised and your mama can't take correction, you never seen your grandma ever say sorry. It's some of y'all, when you think about it, I've never saw my parents apologize. Which means that in general, I know that nobody's perfect. But if you look at my programming in my subconscious mind, I've never witnessed my mother apologize for anything. So now I grow up and I become a mother. I'm not in a space of feeling comfortable with apologizing or saying that I'm wrong. Most people nowadays, they believe these my kids. I'm going to do what the fuck I want. You ain't going to tell me I'm wrong with my kids. When bitches do a lot of shit wrong with their kids. I've done things wrong with my kids. I'm not perfect. You got to really think about what was I raised in. And then you got some of us, like I said earlier, the whole room could know this particular parent dead ass wrong. But because they the one paying the bills or taking care of you, they're somehow exempt from apologizing or treating others with the same respect that they want. So now you grow up and you believe because you pay bills, you can handle people any kind of way. Not because you're a nasty person, but you was programmed to believe that that's how things go. That's why as soon as you get mad or as soon as someone tries to hold you accountable, you point out what you do. Anybody ever been in them situations or found themselves like, I'm trying to say to you, hey, you was incorrect about X. I don't give a fuck. Don't I pay the light bill? I pay the water. These my motherfucking kids. I feed and clothe them. Ma'am, that has nothing to do with being dead ass wrong. It has nothing to do with being dead ass wrong. When you realize this, you'll start being a real mature person. You could have bought everything your child got on. It don't mean at some point when you handle them incorrectly, you can't apologize. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm sure some of y'all have dated people, their parents still got a hold on them like that. They can't even build a healthy relationship because they're still inappropriately attached to their parents.
Gotta support the parents, gotta support the mama's needs, gotta support the older the brothers or the sisters' needs,
Yep.
gotta support their nephew's needs.
Yep.
Gotta support their nephew's needs. That's what my first ex was. That's what my first ex was. Basically his validation comes from taking care of his folks in his immediate setting.
Mm-hmm. To the point where you got
the risk of neglecting.
Yep.
To the point where he was basically neglecting me and what I want.
Yep.
So that relationship got sliced off.
Yep. 100%. And the idea is if you look at the state of, our culture when it comes to relationships and things like that, even if you look at what happened with a lot of men, especially a lot of African-American males, we're raising them in households where the father is absent the majority of the time. So they are already statistically behind based on that. They're being taught how to go at life like a woman would because they're only seeing the ways of a woman. They grow up and they've been giving, because you need a man to teach you this. You need a man to help you understand that once I get grown, watch this, right? And I start to build a life or reproduce with a woman, I now as a man have created a new family, right? And so the idea is as you take on the responsibility of having sex and having children with a woman, there are now other responsibilities that come along with that, but you ain't had no man around to teach you that. So now you got a lot of niggas, they got 1 foot over here with their baby mama. They got 1 foot in the house at their mama house. It's like they can't really fully commit over here with their children, their girlfriend or their baby mama, because it's like my mama give me a certain type of energy when I look like I'm about to fully step away from her household because she don't got no man. She want me to come over there and do this and XYZ at her house, and it's making it where I'm on the fence. When really I should have already jumped fully out of the getting her own shit, pursuing her own shit, and I should be somewhere standing the fuck up in the paint as a man for the family that I want to create. But that ain't what's happening.
A lot of people
That was my ex and me. That was me and my ex. We had, like I said, like I said before in other Zooms, we had a business. We own property. Mm-hmm. This was his business, though. This is what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Steps along the way, I could see his childishness, but I still backed him. I still drew up paperwork. I still met with brokers and lawyers and lenders, and I did all this stuff on his behalf. I used my professional skills to make sure he was comfortable in our life together. Mm-hmm. So we're headed out of one of the business meetings, and broker leaned in and he told me, he said, if you weren't in on this deal, I would not be making this deal for you. And my ex overheard this. Now I think that was like a breaking moment in our relationship. But he then took this information back to his mother and his sisters. Mm-hmm. And within weeks, I'm getting calls, why do you think my brother needs to be doing all this for you? He's bought you a car and all these homes. He's done none of this for us. and me and.
But you see the warped mentality?
Yeah.
This man is in a relationship.
He had to go.
Go ahead.
He had to go discuss it with them. He had to walk this out with them. So finally, when I got that final call that upset me, where she hit me up telling me, my brother's never done anything like this for his own mama. What makes you think he should be doing this stuff with you? I let her know. Maybe if you start sucking your brother's dick, he'll do this for you. Because those are the things I do for your brother. These are these are personal relationships. The relationship I'm in with your brother, this is why he does these things. Maybe if you go to your husband, or maybe if your mother goes to her man, and y'all get the situation worked out like we did, you would have the things that we have going on too. Oh, they had a big problem with that. But this is where I started to realize the attachment to the women in his family was just way too close. The things that we were supposed to be building, it was supposed to be between me and him. My family wasn't in on any of these business deals. I wasn't going to them for information because I knew they didn't have it, just like his family didn't have it. And then once I realized towards the end, he didn't have it. He didn't have the capacity to run this type of business. Yet I'm trying to set up this business for him.
I'm going to tell you two things, Antoinette. One, when you do that, if the relationship doesn't work out, it feels like way more of a loss than what it actually is. Meaning, we're separating or we're divorcing. That's what we're doing. But it feels like my life is falling apart because I know a lot of the things I built while with this woman, I wouldn't have got it without her. And this is when you see people's psyche starts to break, where they want to physically harm the other person during breakups because it's mentally and psychologically way more of a loss than it physically is. The other part of it is...
This man tells anyone that brings my name up to him that I ruined his life.
But the thing is, you did. You did. When you build a person to fuck up, and I'm not saying maliciously, I'm saying from his space, in his mind, you did ruin my motherfucking life. Bitch, you came in, you helped me get all these motherfucking business deals and shit that I couldn't get without you, and then you left. Like, for whatever your reasons are, you left this bitch. And I know I can't maintain or get no new business deals like this without you, and you leaving. And I'm supposed to watch you walk away knowing that I ain't never finna get this shit like this no more because I only got it because of my attachment with you. It's enough to make a nigga crazy. You gotta, and this is when I like talk to women on one-on-ones regarding breakups, and even men at times, depending on what they've put in, you gotta understand what you are to another person. Some people from a realm of the bottom side, they don't understand that you just some ass. They think they more than what they are, right? Watch this. You got some people, this nigga is just fucking me, but I believe I'm some sort of wife to him, right? I got it wrong, right? So when we break up, it's dramatic for me, but really this nigga can move on tomorrow because I was just a piece of ass. Then there are those of us that we don't realize how much we are to the person. So I'm thinking, bitch, we finna break up. Like, it is what it is. He'll find somebody else. He a good looking guy. I'll find somebody else. We don't realize, like, this motherfucker got shit riding on this shit working out with me because I'm the smartest person he's ever dated. I'm the best looking person he's ever dated. I'm the most caring and kind person. I'm the most, compatible as far as him being able to open up and express things. So, like, when I'm talking about breaking up, it's so much more for him than it is for me. And you don't realize it until you see the extent of how people start acting crazy when you try to leave them alone.
That is very true.
You got to be aware of what you are and what you do for people in these relationships. But what I was saying earlier about what you brought up, when you look at how a lot of our men in our community are being raised, they mama's not raising them to, hey, when you turn 18, I want to teach you about credit and finances, and I want to make sure you understand about getting a house in your name and how to purchase a property and XYZ because you're the man. So if you go out and knock up one of these women, or you end up in a space where you want to take on a wife, here are the things that you got to worry about as a man. They're not teaching these guys this. So this is why now when we're in the dating pool, meeting these men that are a product of a single mother household, we're realizing, God damn, a lot of them don't even know how to do much. And they will get mad and argue with you like a damn female based on being raised by the same type of female that we trying to be. Never really relating the two, understanding somebody got to make a decision to stop this motherfucking cycle. Somebody has to be accountable that the mindset of the mothers raising these children, dating back to the 70s when the government said, hey, get rid of your baby daddy and you could be a part of this welfare system. Don't get married. We will give you money to replace that man. And it was liberating for women with a small mind. It felt good. I don't have to listen and compromise and conform to no nigga. I can be independent. And they never for a second thought, what the fuck does a child look like that's raised without a man in that environment over a decade or 2 or 3 in large communities and in, areas? What does it look like to see a wave of a decade worth of, children growing up where none of them had consistent interaction with a father figure from a healthy space? What does it look like? Nobody ain't think about that. So now when you look at what's going on with the violence and the toxicity and the not being able to, it's like the crack epidemic all over again. If you ever watched a movie that depicts or describes what happened when crack hit the scene, that's what this single mama shit is like right now. When you look at the environment, everybody want to shoot each other. Everybody want to be in gangs. All the girls just want to be by themselves and have babies with no nigga around. Fuck marriage. Fuck relationships. We gonna make up our gender. Bitch, call me a Q or a Y. I ain't no male. I ain't no female. I'm a G. Men want to compete with women in sports, and everybody want to be in the same bathrooms and fraternities in college, and everything is just all over. Here's your product. Here's your fucking product.
That is so true.
Here's the fucking product. Nobody ever. Let's sit down and look at what would it do to a community of people, male and female, that are just being raised to think with the idea of family is not that valuable. This is why when people ask me certain things about like my view on the world and what's going on, from a racial standpoint, from a whatever your sexual preference standpoint is, I don't give a fuck about those things. I'm more concerned with what type of person are you? If I was on fire, would you get some water to put me out? If I needed a helping hand, would you help? If you had the information to help me grow, would you share it? Everything else I could give 2 fucks about. Don't care. That's your personal business. But your character, your ways, how you do people, how you are, what's in your heart. Are you giving or are you manipulative? Do you understand like your character traits? What environment were you raised in and how did it affect you being a good person? Not perfect, but a good person. Are you negative? Are you a victim? Are you a user? Are you a manipulator? Do you have narcissistic traits? Will you steal? Like when it has nothing to do with survival. What type of person are you? I could care less about your motherfucking business. Give a fuck who you date, who you fuck, what your sexual preference is. How the fuck were you raised? And let me see how it shows up in your goddamn character.
I like that.
This is
they fly and they clean from head to toe and they look good and they smell good, and then you find out they was raised by 4 generations of women. They literally have taken on every toxic trait of those women.
Yep. A great movie that displays this without directly displaying this, Baby Boy. You look at the movie Baby Boy. It tells you so much about households and how family units can look from a very ghetto space in regards to missing fathers.
He was so feministic and he couldn't even realize that the competition he had taken on in his own home was way above something he could even handle. When he tried to jump on his, or when he tried to get at his mom's boyfriend. He didn't even realize he was way too much of a man for you to even try to start. But he attacked him like a woman would attack a man.
But I'm going to tell you something. When you look at the movie, most females and a lot of men don't realize, like, it started with the mama being a problem. She was a problem. Everybody looking like he need to move out his mama house, or why he like that, or where did he get it from? I'm big on the root. This is the same thing I was saying about race and people's sexual preference and all of that. No, to me, that's surface level conversation, right? What I want to know is, what is the core of your character? Are you a good person? Do you understand taking care of your basics? How are you with people? Do you understand that children deserve unconditional love? They didn't ask to be here. Your kids don't owe you shit. We owe them the tools to make it in life. If you understand those things, regardless of everything else, your culture, your skin color, your religious beliefs, we can get somewhere. We can build a community and we can get somewhere if you can understand the basic things about accountability in life. So when you look at a movie like, for example, Baby Boy, right? And you look at how she never left her mama house. And then she didn't teach him no real tools to go out into the world and get his own and stand up and be a man. So look what the fuck he was to Yvette and his son. And then look at Yvette. Look at her. Like, when it wasn't gonna work out with Jody, she was talking to who? A nigga in prison, putting money on the phone. Look at the fucking cycle. Then look at Jody friend P. What P told Do Dirty and her mama? Y'all gave me these clothes. Y'all said I could be here. He don't really even see it. Grown ass man, fully capable, can't see it. Jody, you need to find me a job. It's so many lessons in that shit when you understand what I'm explaining, the shit teaching without directly teaching. Y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yes, definitely.
It's important that when we are having conversations about relationships, about people, about just society as far as socializing, the relationships among one human being to another, the things that are important are put first. Because we can get so caught up in debating and going back and forth about what I call the surface level shit, that if you can't get a clear idea, like we said earlier, of a person's intentions, what type of person are you? I ain't talking about what you like and what you don't like, and if you like a big booty bitch or a light-skinned bitch versus a dark-skinned bitch. Do you understand that all people deserve a certain level of human rights? And do you understand the concept of respect being earned? Do you understand what I explained about family and fairness and give and take? Do you understand that boundaries are necessary? Do you get where we came from as a society or a culture and what we should be working on? These are the things that matter as I go through life and meet people. Do you have any information on financial literacy or being better as a person? Do you understand what philanthropy work is? How are you with giving back? How are you with taking care of yourself? I don't give a fuck what your sexual preference is. Do you take care of yourself? Do you wash your ass? Do you pay your bills? Do you take care of the kids you fucked and made? Is your household clean and up to par? You ain't got to be rich, but do you keep your space clean? That says a lot about your motherfucking character and how you are. Do you care about your reputation? Or do you have an I don't give a fuck attitude? Because I don't give a fuck what your skin color is or what your sexual preference is. If you got that attitude and you don't give a fuck, it's a lot of things you will do and not care how it makes me or you look. Because remember, you don't give a fuck. I hope y'all genuinely understand. What's your core beliefs? What's your morals? Do you realize that some of the things that we were raised on, it ain't always correct? People ain't always right just because they older than you. An elder is not always telling you the correct things. Just because you them kids' mama or daddy don't mean you always right about everything when it comes to them. When you realize this stuff I'm saying, you will care more about dating a person and getting to know them more than like doing fun shit with them and letting them into your close vicinity. Anybody got any questions on what I'm explaining?